Cassie told the jury that the freakoffs made her feel disgusting and humiliated and worthless.
The second thing that was discussed this morning, will the media be able to see video of these freakoffs?
He did say these freakoffs lasted between 1 and 4 days, and it would take her an equal amount of time to get her body recovered, to rehydrate, to rest.
Victim 3 is nowhere to be found, so they may have to make sure that victim 1 is still available.
I think we're going to learn a lot about the nature of Cassie's relationship with Diddy.
Cassie Ventura, former singer, model, and longtime partner of Sean Diddy Combs, stood in court, her belly visibly swollen with her third child. What she shared in sworn testimony left the room speechless. She described years of sexual degradation, beatings, druggings, and being forced into orgies with multiple male escorts. The freakoffs, as Diddy called them, would sometimes last 4 straight days. And now Diddy isn't just facing accusations, he's watching his world crumble, testimony by testimony. In this video, we take you inside the courtroom. From shocking footage, to disappearing witnesses, to a male escort's tearful confession, you'll understand why this trial may go down as one of the most disturbing in Hollywood history. Cassie told jurors she was 19 when she met Diddy. He was nearly 40. At first, the relationship seemed glamorous. Trips, music studios, luxury. But beneath it was something horrifying. Control. She testified that Diddy forced her into freakoffs, bizarre, extended sex sessions involving multiple male escorts, drugs, and filmed humiliation. Cassie said Diddy spiked her drinks with ecstasy without her knowledge. She would wake up in the middle of a freakoff, surrounded by strangers, with Diddy watching from a corner. He would sit and masturbate, giving instructions. She testified that he dictated everything: outfits, sex positions, even when and where the escorts could ejaculate. These sessions took place in 5-star hotels: New York, Miami, Spain, Turks and Caicos. Staff were instructed not to interfere. Baby oil, condoms, Molly, and cameras were pre-stocked. The aftermath? Rooms covered in urine, blood, and bodily fluids. She often needed IV drips to recover. Cassie said she couldn't refuse. Diddy threatened to release sex tapes if she ever said no. Enter Daniel Phillip, a professional escort. He testified that Diddy paid him between $700 and $6,000 per session to sleep with Cassie. "I thought I was walking into a party. It was a prison." Daniel recounted a session where Cassie was completely unresponsive, slumped, drugged. He refused. Diddy didn't care. He recalled Diddy throwing a liquor bottle at Cassie when she didn't obey. Then came the dragging by her hair into a bedroom, screaming, slaps, then silence. Daniel froze. "I didn't move. I was afraid. This is a man with power, money, and no limits." He told the jury he could no longer perform after that. "It broke me. It broke her." Los Angeles, InterContinental Hotel. Israel Flores, then hotel security, testified he responded to a call from a woman in distress. He arrived to find broken glass, a vase destroyed, and Cassie with a black eye. Then came the video. Surveillance footage was shown in court. Diddy grabbing Cassie, dragging her down a hallway by her neck. She tries to call security. He blocks her path. When officers arrived, Cassie begged to leave. Diddy refused. Inside the suite, a man on the bed. Another. Witness: Flores said Diddy offered him a wad of cash to forget the incident. He refused. Cassie said Diddy controlled her life down to the minute. "If I didn't comply, I'd lose my apartment, my jewelry, my car." She described how Diddy used employees like Christina Korm and bodyguard Rock to track her. When she hid, they found her. When she cried, they recorded it. Korm was named in multiple lawsuits. Cassie described her as the assistant who knew everything. If Cassie tried to leave, Diddy would threaten to release footage, or worse. Prosecutors revealed Diddy bribed multiple witnesses. One female escort provided a recorded call. Diddy offered her hush money if she claimed everything was consensual. Former assistant Philip Pines provided text evidence, Korm requesting freakoff supplies. Then came a chilling revelation. Victim number 3, an alleged trafficking survivor, disappeared before testifying. No one has heard from her since. One juror requested removal from the trial, citing emotional trauma. Cassie's voice cracked. She was visibly pregnant. She paused to breathe. She told the court, "I'd numb myself with whatever he gave me. I didn't want to feel anything." She said the freakoffs became a full-time job. "Every week, I had to perform or be punished." Even the escorts tried to comfort her. One said, "You don't deserve this." Cassie replied, "I'm fine. It's okay." But it wasn't okay. Prosecutors presented surveillance footage of beatings, text messages showing Diddy forcing Cassie escort testimony of drugged sex bribery attempts, disappearing victims. They argued this wasn't just a relationship, it was trafficking, cross-state travel, coercion, and control. Under the law, that's all prosecutors need to convict. Even if victims agreed under pressure, consent under duress isn't legal consent. Diddy's defense argued this was a case of heartbreak, money, and tabloid manipulation. That Cassie was scorned and vengeful, but the prosecution says otherwise. This isn't about love, this is about systemic, orchestrated abuse, filmed, paid for, and covered up. More witnesses are set to testify. More victims are expected to come forward. The defense's argument? Crumbling. As the court case against Diddy unfolds, a deeper question is beginning to circulate, not just in legal circles, but in Hollywood boardrooms, music studios, and the social media feeds of millions. How did no one say anything for so long? Sean Diddy Combs wasn't just a rapper or a businessman, he was a cultural institution. The man who gave us Bad Boy Records, who launched the careers of megastars, who danced in shiny suits across MTV and accepted Lifetime Achievement Awards while preaching about love and success. So when these testimonies surfaced, graphic accounts of rape, violence, trafficking, and humiliation, it wasn't just a celebrity falling, it was a mirror held up to the entire entertainment industry. Why didn't artists speak up? Why didn't executives distance themselves? Why were major award shows still handing him honors? The answer, like many things in Hollywood, comes down to money, reputation, and power. Over the past 2 decades, Diddy built a brand that touched every corner of the culture: fashion, music, alcohol, media, television. He was intertwined with every major artist from Jay-Z to Kanye West to Mary J. Blige. His parties were the stuff of legend, his guest lists, global elite. Speaking out against Diddy wasn't just risky, it could be career suicide. Cassie's case has already had ripple effects. After her testimony, former bad boy artists began revisiting old stories. Some talked about being manipulated in contracts, others recalled uncomfortable energy around Diddy's inner circle. Still, most stopped short of full condemnation. Why? Because the music industry has a long history of protecting powerful men, especially when they generate revenue. And Diddy wasn't just a hit maker, he was a gatekeeper. One anonymous A&R rep told Rolling Stone, "If you said something bad about Diddy, your phone stopped ringing. You didn't get invited to meetings, your budget disappeared." Producers, assistants, and stylists began whispering to journalists behind closed doors. Everyone had heard something. Most had seen something. But they all stayed quiet. It wasn't just fear of retaliation. It was the normalization of abuse. The same goes for the media. Until recently, most outlets refused to touch stories critical of Diddy. He was too well connected. Publicists managed the headlines. Lawyers issued threats. And journalists didn't want to burn a bridge with one of hip-hop's biggest names. Even now, some of the largest entertainment publications are slow to cover the trial in detail. But thanks to platforms like YouTube, independent journalists, and first-hand testimony, the silence is breaking. This trial isn't just putting Diddy on trial, it's putting the entire culture of complicity on trial. It raises questions about how we reward powerful men, regardless of behavior, how we shame victims into silence, how institutions, legal, corporate, creative, enable abuse under the guise of art or genius. And perhaps most painfully, it asks how many more victims are out there too afraid to speak up, watching this case and wondering if anyone would believe them. As Cassie testifies, days from giving birth, her presence alone has become a symbol of resistance. She's not a perfect victim, and that's exactly the point. She dated him. She stayed. She cried. She smiled for cameras. She tried to leave. She went back. And still, none of that justifies what she endured. The industry is at a crossroads. Either it continues protecting icons at the expense of human dignity, or it begins to rebuild its moral compass, starting with listening to victims, no matter how famous their abuser. This case is far from over. New names are surfacing, new evidence is being reviewed, and jurors are still processing the magnitude of what they've heard. Whether Diddy is convicted or not, one thing is certain. The world will never look at him the same way again. And maybe, just maybe, victims watching from the sidelines will feel a little more seen, a little more heard. Because this isn't just Cassie's story. This is a story about abuse, power, fear, and what it takes to finally break the cycle. Cassie Ventura walked into court broken but unafraid, and in doing so, she may have shattered the shield that protected one of the most powerful men in entertainment. This trial is no longer about one man. It's about a system that allowed abuse to flourish. It's about assistants, drivers, staff, security, a network that kept the truth buried. And now, the silence is over. Stay tuned for part 2 of this trial as we follow every update, testimony, and consequence. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. This story is far from over.